Alrighty. Hello. Welcome to another episode of CAV HQ Live. We're back in the flesh. We survived another convention. I'm not sure how. It was nuts, but we did it. So thank you, Elvin, for resubscribing. Hi, how are you doing? Hopefully everybody can hear me okay. We hope. Hi there, Doc Caustic. How are you doing? Yes, good. I'm still down a camera. I thought we'd have that all taken care of, but they did not deliver the case for the new computer. So we've got all the parts, but no case. So hopefully we will have that by Friday. I am great. You are great. We're all great. Great. So I hope everybody had a good 2 weeks. I guess it's been 2 weeks since the last time I was here. Since I was on the road. Well, technically, last Wednesday I'd made it to the hotel by then. Oh, but that's what we're here for tonight. We're going to kind of run down AdeptiCon. We're going to talk about the next convention coming up. We're going to talk a little bit about stuff that's going on, answering any questions, as always. Since we don't have the other camera running, I can't really do anything else to show you, though I do have a little something to show you tonight. So just a little something, But anyway, so we'll give everybody a couple of minutes to show up and we'll go from there. We just, as usual, we come back to 80-degree weather yesterday, and it's like 45 today, but I think it's supposed to be back up warm tomorrow. I am so tired of the cold, and going to Chicago didn't help. So, just not my kind of weather. For sure. Yeah, well, we got yours and you got ours. Hopefully this is the last little cold snap. Tired of it. Hate the cold. Not a cold weather person. If I did have all my factory and everything here, I'd move south. So. All right, so let's go in and let's talk about the little something I have here to show. We'll start off with that. So, and this kind of ties into AdeptiCon. We took a crap load of Badger drop ships with us to AdeptiCon. I knew that would be a very good convention for that ship, and it did not disappoint. We sold a crap load of Badger drop ships over the 4 days. So, and I had already been working on a lot of things for it, but one of the things that I'd been wanting to do with it is add some more STL files for some of the small details, so that people that have the printers that want to add the stuff like we did with the missile ends and backs can do that. So, during the weekend, as I was looking at things, playing with things, one of the things I'd been wanting to do was to change or add a file for the detail on the back of the ship around the engine ports. With it being 2D, it's just kind of drawn in there with some of the deals. So what I did is I made a file, and literally I took this off the printer 10 minutes before I came up here. so I didn't have a chance to paint it or at least to primer it so that it shows up a little bit better. But there's a little tweak I need to make to it, and then I will put this up tomorrow. So if you want to download this and change this out, or somebody that's got a new kit, you can change out that detail around the engine port. And as you can see, it's all nice three-dimensional now. It does not need any support. I designed it so that it's already got support in it. I ran this at 0.10 layers on my FDM printer, and it took about 2 hours. So not very long to do one, and then it'll flip for the other side. But I'm pretty happy with how it turned out. So hopefully that with the sheen, you can kind of see the details there. But basically, I took the 2D lines that are on there and added depth to them and what they're supposed to be, and just little greeblies on the back. I do. I use a Prusa. I have 2 Crealities that work 1 out of 10 times. I've got a new one in a box down there. I forget what company it is. It's a JG something or another like that. But it's a 2-head printer, so that you can print either with 2 colors, or what I got it for was to print with 1 color and the water dissolvable supports. Hopefully, I will get that out of the box at some point. And be able to actually get it to work. Hopefully it works better than my Crealities. I think it will. It's kind of a Prusa clone without being one. Prusa's got a new XL printer that's going to be coming out. I don't think they're expecting it probably for another 6 months. But you can get up to 5 heads on it, and then it's got the bigger build plate on it. So I will probably get one of those. Prusas do cost more. The base one's like $900 if you buy it assembled or whatever. But I'll tell you what, almost every time I can go down there and stick a file in that Prusa and push a button, and I'm done. I can walk away and come back, and I'll have my print when it's done. I did manage to get a lot more desert buildings printed up. So hopefully next week we will have, it just works. And, in the grand scheme of things, I bought those Crealities, and I think I paid $300 and something for the first one, and then I got their big one. I paid like $500 for it. And with all the pieces that we had to add and repairs that we had to change out parts with it, I easily spent probably as much as one of those Prusas cost me on each of them. So, hindsight's always 20/20. I wish I just bought all Prusas. And I do enough printing, I need 2 or 3 of them, or it takes me forever. It's like printing these desert buildings I've been doing for the desert map. They've been going for 3 weeks, just because I have been throwing them on the Prusa, doing one, because some of them take anywhere from 12 to 15 hours to print. So I'm also working on some my own designs for the desert buildings and stuff, and I'll be putting those files up too. So anyway, so we got that. I'm probably going to do some engine ports for it, for the Badger. That panel, the little sensor thing up on the front, I'll probably do one of those. I probably will do all the doors, the the little hatch doors and stuff like that. I probably will do some 3D versions of those. So, like I said, it's just stuff that if you want to print and have access to it and want to put them on your Badger, it'll give it a little bit more life. All right, so with that being said, let's see. I guess we'll go over AdeptiCon. All right, so AdeptiCon, we left here last Tuesday, drove the majority of it, stayed the night somewhere, Lincoln, I think. By the way, don't stay in the Quality Inn in Lincoln, Illinois. It sucks. Their breakfast was good. I'll give them a deal, but the hotel was pretty run down for what we paid for it. Got up Wednesday morning, made it to the show, got everything worked out great. We got set up during the afternoon, took the evening off. It was kind of a madhouse with people already being there for pre-reg and everything, so we just kind of went back to the hotel that we were staying at, the Embassy Suites, right around, it's about a block away from the convention hall. Got out to go get dinner Wednesday night, raining very, very hard, and got ran into. So it sucked. Luckily, it only kind of damaged the driver front corner of my truck a little bit. We were sitting still when we got hit. Knocked my bumper in, everything like that. So it made a mess. I drive a Chevy 2500 HD pickup, and the thing's a tank, and it was like a little SUV that hit us, and we destroyed the front of that car after it hit us. So I was afraid that we pull a trailer up there and everything like that. So I'm like, oh, God, please don't let me get stuck up here. But luckily, everything worked out. We were able to do a little quick fix on the truck and drove it for the rest of the show and made it home. So Wednesday night sucked. I'm like, oh my, that's not the way to start off the convention, but it is what it is. So Thursday morning, 10 a.m., got down there. So we stay at the Embassy Suites. They do a cook-to-order breakfast in the mornings, so that's always good. Got everything set up. We had a 6-booth island, and we were supposed to be sharing the space with Reaper Miniatures. We were supposed to take 2 booths, and they had a 4 section. Well, here right before the show, some things came up, and Reaper was not able to come to the show. So, in the interest of trying to look bigger, just for the sakes of the convention, didn't have a big empty spot, we spread out a lot more than we normally do. I wish that I'd known that I was going to have a 6-booth spot. I'd have done things a little different that I would have brought with me. But we didn't have enough time from when we were told. So, but we made the best of it. Booth looked great. Reaper sponsors the paint and take. So we had got all their stuff. We had gone down there the weekend before and picked up all that up and brought with us. So there's an area in front of our booth as you come in the main convention hall where they do the paint and take. So we got all that set up and monitored that over the weekend, which there's a story there. So, which we'll get to in a second. And voila, 10 a.m., the hordes come running in. Now, AdeptiCon for years started off and was primarily a Warhammer convention, hence the name, AdeptiCon. So they have always been very Warhammer focused. They, 3 or 4 years ago, 5 years ago, Warhammer Games Workshop decided they were not going to do the stuff with the shows anymore, with like the Golden Demon Awards and things. So AdeptiCon kind of got left hanging, holding the bag. They still did their own tournament system and everything like that, but they really made a push into other miniature games at that point. They always had some, but they really jumped into the other ones. That was when we started going. Since there was less focus on workshop and other things, it was something that I really wanted to try out. So we've been going ever since. We didn't go, of course, in 20 and 21 because they didn't have a convention because of COVID. So we were looking forward to being back. But Games Workshop's back into the picture. So they've kind of all jumped back into bed with them a little bit. So Games Workshop has a big section in the back with Forge World and everything like that, and they do a lot of convention giveaways, unique things that you can only get at certain times or whatever. So Thursday morning, everybody else in the convention center just watched a swoosh of people come by your booth because everybody was running back there to try to get. There's a limited number of things, whatnot. So the first couple hours was everybody headed towards the Games Workshop stuff. But it's always been like that when they're there, so you just deal with it and go on. But after that, everybody starts kind of filtering out into the other booths. So we were not able to have any events set up that we set up ourselves. We are still trying to find people that can help us at conventions, that can volunteer. We are really, between now and next year, going to really shake the bush and get that set up. We've got to do something different. We need to have events at all the conventions that we're attending. And in the past, we were able to do it because both my sons traveled with me. So they were always able to do it if we didn't have other people. They are currently in college and were unable to attend. So it was just me and the wife, Miss CAV Boss. So we're really going to have to figure out a way to shake the tree and get us some people to help out. It's a prime opportunity to show the game off to a lot of people in a short amount of time. Now, I did have our small little demo table set up in the booth, and I pretty much talked to myself voiceless every day with people, showing the game, talking about where we are with it, what we're doing, things coming up and whatnot. We took several cases of books with us, and we came back with less than one. So I think we did a really good job. I think we introduced the game to a lot of new people. As always, especially when the other mech game company shows up at the show, we get our little fanboy ditzes. So that's always fun when they come by and hear some of the guys make some comments under their voice. But so that's always fun to have to deal with. And it just reminds me why I don't play the game anymore. But other than that, it was a great show. I had meant to take more pictures, and I stayed busy. I was so busy doing things that I didn't have a lot of time to walk around. And there was a lot of great tables. Infinity had some really cool stuff set up. Star Wars had some great stuff set up for Star Wars Legions. It's a good problem, but it leads into the other problem that we've got to do better about having people at the shows to run events. And I've either got to go run events and find people to work in the booth, or vice versa. We've got to do something to make it work different. And at the big shows, it's really, really hard for me to try to do both. Now, next month, we will be back up in that area at Little Wars, and we will be running events at Little Wars. So it is a smaller show. It's a little easier for me to get loose and get over there and run games. I don't know exactly how many we're going to run, but generally I like to try to do Friday and Saturday, one in the afternoon and one in the early evening. So we're going to work on that, and I want to, like I said, that's the desert board. We're going to get that finished and take that with us. And going forward, and all the shows will have some. Origins is going to be a little tricky. I'm still trying to figure out how to do Origins, but I've got months away from that. So we actually have to have the events submitted tomorrow, so I will be submitting those for Origins. And then between now and then, we're going to figure out how to make it work. What else happened while we were at the show? Met a lot of new people. Talked to a lot of people. We have 4 new retailers that are going to be picking up the line. We talked to a couple of our retailers that are up in that area that already carry the game. They came by, primarily like Gronard Games. They carry the full line of CAV up in that area. They are a great game store. They have open gaming, everything. They are gaming elite. So if you're up in that area, make sure you look up Gronard Games. Gronard Games. I am planning on trying to get a section up on the forums with stores and start getting those in there. So I've been trying to get a full list together. The problem is a lot of stores order directly through Reaper because Reaper distributes us. And that way they can get it with their other order and everything like that. So it's harder for me to know sometimes what stores are carrying our stuff. We're trying to get that list from Reaper as to the way that they do it, but they have kind of a strange system with ordering and everything that kind of groups retail stores in with regular customers. So it's a little hard sometimes to get that all straightened out, but we're working on that and getting that together. We made sure, as always, while we were there, to get some deep dish pizza. So that was always good. Some sausage. We got everything ready to go pretty quick Sunday afternoon. The vendor hall closed Sunday at 3 o'clock. We were on the road about 5:30. So we drove to Jacksonville, Illinois, and stayed there at a Hampton, which was a much nicer hotel, for actually the same price that we paid for the one in Lincoln. And got back in here Monday evening, early evening. So yesterday was recovery day for me after spending 4 or 5 days on concrete and driving and everything. I was ready for a break. So today is actually my first day really back into the shop. So it was catching up everything from the last week. Got all the orders out that had backed up while we were gone. So if you've got an order in, those are on the way. And where? As far as the rest of this month, now we're finally caught up with our convention stuff. Everything's, other than I got to finish some few things for the desert board. We actually are to a point now that we don't have to spend nearly as much time to get ready for a show again. So I am switching gears again and getting back to all the I've got one on the way now, getting a few more Malverns for my birthday. Well, cool. That's glad to hear. We, a lot of people, of course, have a lot of background with the lore yet or anything like that. So when of course, we gave away the free squad with the book purchase that we do at the shows and stuff. So I just kind of tell them, hey, pick the one that you think looks the coolest, and you can work it out later. Of course, I always drop the hint that my 2 favorite factions are the Templars and the Malverns. So, I remind them that it's always a good idea to use the faction that the game designer likes. So now that conventions are set up and everything is out of the way, hi Tiger Wraith, how are you doing, sir? Switching gears back to getting super back into the writing and get all that finished up. So by the end of this month, by the end of April, the new combat update will be available. I promise. The PDF with the update to the rules will be up by the end of April. My hope is to have it up. We leave on the 20th for Little Wars, and my hope is to have it done before then. So, so you may be wondering, what is the combat update? Okay, so, and that also falls into finishing up the JOR, getting with the writer on the campaign book and really storming that out. The new card deck, I've got to finish the artwork up on we've added cards to that deck. So hopefully that will be off to the printer this month before I leave too. So, and that comes back pretty quick because those get printed here in the U.S. Me either. I'm so, and always after a big convention, I'm always pumped. I'm ready to get back into doing that kind of stuff. So I'm ready to roll. We're gonna get there. So what is the combat update? All right. So we released the core rule book in 2015, and since that time, obviously, we've had some errata, we've had some FAQs, we've come up, we've had a lot more people play the game, we've had time to see different things that worked better. In hindsight, then things that need to be tweaked a little bit here and there. So again, I'm not one of every time I turn around, let's do another book. Let's do a new edition. That's not what I want to try to do. I'm not trying to be that guy or that company. So rather than do that and invalidate your rule book that you have, the combat update will be a PDF that we are going to upload that you'll be able to download. And it's basically taking the combats, the rules of the game and putting them all in one place, updated with the errata and any changes that we've made tweak-wise to it. That document then will be available for people to download and will become the rules. A lot of the rules stay the same, but there are some things that are changing. So that will become the addition of rules that are the official rules to play, as far as just the rules side of it. With that being a PDF, and as we get feedback from that so that we can, maybe, again, if we get a question that somebody doesn't quite understand the way that we're explaining that, we can go back in and change that PDF right away and update it and get it so that it's one thing. Then when the campaign book prints, that document, the new rules, will be in part of that book. So that way you are going to have you're going to buy another book anyway if you're playing CAV. So this way you get that updated rules without not having to go back and buy a new rule book. Now, down the road, we will reprint the core rule book and it will be updated to the new version. Just because we have to have a core rule book. And we're just almost out. We are literally working through the last 500 books. So, and we went through a crap load of them over this last 4 days. So I'll have to go back and check count. So we're going to have to really be looking at that. So we got to get it done. As soon as that is done, I will be doing a couple of YouTube videos talking about the rules. We'll be playing a lot more demonstration games, some walkthroughs. I have been watching YouTube videos for some of the other games that are out there that are doing some of the things that we want to do. and seeing what works and what doesn't work. So hopefully we will have that ahead of us. The other two big things that are big on my list to get done is the demo program, so that we can help with volunteers at conventions, at stores, can get us some volunteers to help out, et cetera, et cetera. The other thing is the loyalty program. Where on the back of the card you get where you've been the points. We're going to get that rolled out. I think we've pretty much got that straightened out. So that's coming very, very soon. So going to be a very, very busy going into summer, but I'm excited for it. We're moving finally behind that. We are, with everything that's gone on, 2 years, we've kind of veered off a path for various reasons. And with not having some of the resources and stuff that we've had before, that we've kind of lost over the last 2 years, we're ready to get out, crawl out our hole and get back on the ball. So we've got that going for us. I did bring, here's the AdeptiCon book, their convention book, world's premier gaming convention. Everybody's got to have some hype, right? This was the vendor hall. Probably going to knock it out because it's kind of yellowish green, but pretty good hall. A lot of vendors. A lot of vendors in there. What were some notable things I saw from some of the vendors? Across from us, it always seems like we come to a convention. We are across the hall from LaserWorks. They do 28 millimeter stuff. They're great. It's a lot of cool stuff. We traded out for some stuff. He wanted one of my Badgers, and so I got some new things for a board, stuff I'm working on a board. Let's see, what was some other cool things? And not to take anything away from them, Catalyst was there. They had a very nice setup in the back of one of the halls with their demo people running games. A lot of people stopped and played. I was able to see a lot of that. But with that being said, one of the funniest comments, they had a nice big table that they were playing on and running games. So many folks came over to the booth and, oh yeah, we had sit down to play that game or this game over there, and in an hour, I got to move my guy once. So we always have that. Who are some other notable? And right now, the fantasy 28 millimeter combat games are like the bomb. In these skirmish games. God Terror, which was another one of those that's coming from Steamforged Games. They gave a copy out to all the VIP kits. So I did not get a copy of that, but I wanted to. The Fifth Trooper, they were the sponsor of the Legion Games stuff, so that was really cool. Let's see here. What were some other notable things that stuck out? Of course, they had all their big painting competitions. There was several historical companies there. I just didn't get to spend as much time back there as I wanted to. Broken Egg Games. I meant to go back by their booth. They came to ReaperCon one year and was getting into doing some terrain as far as on the mouse pad stuff, so like tree templates and stuff like that. I'd really like to go back and seen some of them. Tinker Turf was there doing their pre-done Infinity stuff. That is always so cool looking. The Elder Scrolls Call to Arms. That was another fantasy game that was there. Battle Foam was there with all their cases. Crocodile Games. I haven't seen them for a while. Any chance you'll distribute the PDF with War Games Vault? I don't know if it will be War Games Vault, but yes, we are going to. It's either going to be them or drive through, but that's how we're going to do it. It'll all be up there. That way, you get notified when there's a new update and everything, and they allow you to put free stuff up there. So we'll have that. So very good question. And first time chat. Thank you, Doug DX88. You just were a follower the other day. I just saw that come up. So welcome to the show. Welcome to CAV. Crocodile Games was there with War Gods. I hadn't seen that around for a while. Let's see. Fat Mat was there. Table War. That's where I get a lot of my mats from. Though I primarily I really like the God, I can't remember their name. They're out of England. But I really like their mats too. TT Combat was there, or somebody was repping them anyway. So looked at a lot of that. Gal Force 9 was there. And of course, Forge World. Warlord Games was there. We used to do a lot of shows with them, so that was always fun to see those guys. Dwarven Forge was there. Oh, by the way, even though they weren't there, and naturally because it's got green on it, Bone 6 starts tomorrow. Reaper's new big Kickstarter. So, Tales from the Green Griffin. So if you want to get in on their Kickstarter, they're good to go. Lasercraft, there's a lot of their stuff. Like I said, it's cool. They're getting into 3D printing on demand too. But great buildings, great guy. Artis Opus was there with their supposedly the greatest paintbrushes that were ever made. That's what I've been told. Monarch was there with their new paint line. So I want to get some of those because they actually are a store out in the Arizona area, and they are picking up the CAV line. So we like that. But they do a whole line of paints that is supposed to be really, really good. I had intended to get some, and I just didn't. Two Thin Coats was there. Yeah, isn't that a painter or whatever that did a Kickstarter for a line? Duncan, yeah. War Games Vault and drive through the same. Well, there you go. I probably knew that and just didn't realize it. We've talked to them in the past at shows that about if we ended up doing any PDFs and stuff like that. But since we're getting ready to do the first flashpoint and everything like that, we'll have that all set up through them. So yes, all our PDFs in the future will be available through them. Let me see here if I can find Monarch. Oh, I have to probably do it through Facebook. That way I can find and tell you exactly the paint guys here. Because I follow them on paint. I'm sorry, Monument Hobbies. My bad. Yes, yeah, Duncan. I knew it was a painter that had been with Games Workshop or something like that, and did his Kickstarter deal. But this here is their Facebook page, Monument Hobbies. Like I said, I have not tried their paint out. I have had a lot of people tell me that it's really, really good paint. So I am going to be getting some in, and we'll test it out and give you a. They've got brushes and all kinds of things. Yes. Yeah, the Pro acrylic line. They have some videos up too from AdeptiCon. So cool there. And I think they have brushes and everything too. So, but the too thin layer coat guy or whatever like that, I saw them in passing. Not sure. I haven't had a chance to mess with it at all. They do their own deal too, but they just moved into a new store. They're in the Phoenix, Arizona area, by the way, and have a really nice setup for painting, people to come in and paint and stuff. So there's a couple of conventions down there in Phoenix that at some point I would like to get down there in that area and do a convention. Don't know if we can make it work, but we'll try. California, I'd like to do one out in California at some point too. That's just, those are huge drives. I think Vegas for me is like 20, 21, 22 hours. It's a big drive. All right, so that's kind of my rundown for, my other story about the paint and take. So we set all the tables up. I put minis out. The Reaper sends me a bag of figures. So I keep little piles of miniatures all across the table so that people can come and go. I probably put more out than I normally would do because we didn't have anybody that was there with the table full time. So that way people weren't waiting or anything. So we left Friday night. After the hall had closed, we'd been there for a little bit. We got everything straightened out, cleaned up, ready to go for the next morning. Miniatures were on the table, whatever. So we come back Saturday morning, all the miniatures are gone. Somebody has come by and cleaned all the miniatures off from the tables. So I had quite a few out because Saturday obviously is the big day. So we didn't have a whole lot left in the bag that Reaper had given me. So we put those out. I just kind of, what do you do? It is what it is. I've always kind of been of the opinion if you got to steal stuff at a gaming convention, you probably needed it worse than I did. It's unfortunate that you screwed up a lot of things for a lot of people, but if you're watching this, whoever stole those minis, we're looking for you. So I put out what we had left, and they were gone in about 2 hours. So we're Saturday, it's noon, we've got all day still to go, and we've got no miniatures. So I go talk to one of the organizers of the convention, Shelley, very nice lady. Explained to her what has happened, and Mrs. Cabos gave me a Dictator B at AdeptiCon. I liked it so much I ordered some more by Tuesday. There you go. A happy customer. So I talked to her and I said, hey, we need some more miniatures. So luckily, she was able to round up some more figures, a lot of resin figures and stuff. So we got those out on the table. We didn't. There wasn't a whole lot. Of course, I didn't put them all out this time. Kind of fill out. But I had a box over with all the other stuff that had those figures in it. So after about an hour or two. And a bunch of the miniatures were from Victoria Miniatures, that does some workshop type figures and stuff. And she was not, Victoria was not there this year, but the guys over at Trenchworks was there, Dave Baker, great guys. And so they were repping her at the show. So we got into a big, busy period with people coming into the booth and everything like that. And I was trying to about every 15 minutes, 20 minutes, look over at the table, keep things going over there too. So 15, 20 minutes passed through this little deal. I look over, the box of new miniatures are gone. I'm like, you got to be F kidding me. I said, this is nuts. I said, I cannot, in all the years that I have gone to all the conventions, the only thing that I have ever had stolen after hours was a tape measure. I had a tape measure out on my game table there. Somebody grabbed my little Stanley tape measure. Of course, we always get a little bit of pilferage, people sticking things in their pocket, but it's never been a huge problem. But now they've taken this whole box of figures. And I'm just beating my head against this pillar. I'm like, I cannot believe now somebody's stolen the miniatures again. So I text Shelley. I said, you're not going to believe this. But I said, literally in the hour since you gave me those figures, all the miniatures are gone. Somebody's stolen the box of miniatures. So she comes over and we're talking, and I explained to her, I said, listen, it just happened 30 minutes ago. There was a 15-minute spot, and I was trying to watch it and everything. So then I guess they're on all the staff and the volunteers are on a group messaging deal or whatever. So she's typing on her thing, hey, and the box, it said CAV on the side of it. It was a box that our books had come in. Be on the lookout for this box. And they took a picture of another box that we had so that they could see that. So not 5 minutes later, here comes this guy running up just scared to death. And I'm like, oh, okay, what's going to happen here? Well, it turns out that for whatever reason, even though we've had this table with our stuff on it, with boxes and everything for 2 days already, he comes by, saw the box, opened the box up, and saw all the Victoria miniatures in it. So he had thought somehow or another somebody had grabbed a box and brought it over. So he had picked up the box on his own without saying anything to us or whatever, taken the box over to Trenchworks and asked them, hey, do you know why this box of Victoria miniatures is sitting over here? No, don't know it. Okay, well, we'll hold on to them. So he tells me the whole story. So I go over to Trenchworks and said, hey, you guys got our box? So we all had a big laugh about it. I brought the box back, and we made it through Saturday and Sunday without any more drama, I guess, is the best word for it. Oh, that was crazy. Crazy, crazy, crazy. So I guess I will have to start locking up the miniatures. So between that and getting run into the first night we were there, that was really the only two negatives. But the show was good. I love AdeptiCon. Hopefully next year, Reaper will be there, because when we share a booth with Reaper, they help us out, and I can get loose a little bit more and get some more pictures. But we will definitely be running events at AdeptiCon next year. So if you're up in that area, we will be running games at Little Wars here in 3 weeks up in that area as well. So if you were at Adepticon and didn't get a chance to play the game, I will be running games. They will probably be on Friday and Saturday. My plan is to try to do one each afternoon and one early evening. With that being said, any questions, anything else that we can, we've got, looks like 8 minutes before we're done. Any concerns, any crazy stuff? Any new dual cast on the way? Warden B release date. Okay, so we are waiting on masters for the Dictator B, or not the Dictator B, the Despot B, the new Warden, the Cobra, and the King Cobra. Those are the next ones. My hope is that we will have those masters back by the end of the month. Naturally, and we've talked about this before. The guys that are doing the Metal Masters for me, that we're sending them out to, have had a horrible time with COVID. They are over in Holland, and they have draconian shutdown rules. And literally, when somebody catches COVID at their plant, they have to send everybody home, and everybody has to spend 10 days and get tested and everything. And they have just, it just seems like every time they turn around, somebody's coming down with COVID. Hopefully now they're on the back side of this. I talked to them over the weekend, and they're back on track, so hopefully we'll get those all done. What are you doing at Little Wars? What's the plan? Obviously, we will have our booth set up there, and we will be running games. Right now, the plan is to try to do one each afternoon on Friday and Saturday, and one in the evening, Friday and Saturday. And I will actually be running them. So you get to play CAV with CAV Boss. You can't beat that with a stick. But we are slowly working over our dual cast hump. It's been a while. They actually did one last year, but we did not go to it because all the COVID stuff was really hot at the time, and I don't think they had a very good turnout. So I'm hoping now that everything's going. I'm really interested to see what the the final attendance count for AdeptiCon is. Last AdeptiCon was 6,500 people. So it'll be interesting to see what happened. Our sales we did about the same in sales that we did in the last AdeptiCon. April 16th, I'm going to do CAV games at the Gamekeep in Nashville, Tennessee. Cool. Lots of pictures. We are, but as far as the dual cast, I think we're kind of over the learning curve with some of it. We've had some machine problems that we've had to get some parts in to replace stuff on it. They can be a little bit finicky at times, but we kind of got it set up to that. Reaper is also has got the same machines in, so we can. That's actually the weekend before AdeptiCon. I went down there and did a bunch of our casting, so that we had plenty of dual cast at the show. Well, it's not so much of a tool. I mean, it's a new process. It's a new system, and they're working through some bugs too. There's already been some changes in their equipment. That's been some of the things that we've had to change out. They've sent parts. They figured out a better way to do something. So we've had to figure that out, and it's an all new process. So, but we're getting there. I'm hoping to have somebody up pretty soon that can help make molds. I'm training somebody now, and hopefully they'll get up to speed and be able to help me get molds done. All right, we're down to the last couple of minutes. Hopefully the computer will be done Friday, and once we get the case in that was supposed to be here and delivered while I was gone. And so next week I will be back with either painting something, or we'll have the game board up or something. So like I said, again, tomorrow I will, for your drop ship, I've got a new STL file for the greeblies on the very back of it around the engine port. We'll get those loaded up tomorrow for you to download if you want to 3D print those and put those on your ship. And other than that, Miss Lincoln, that's all I know. Well, thank you so much for being here tonight, especially our new guests. We appreciate when you're here, and we didn't talk a lot of CAV tonight, but we'll get back on the train there. I figured everybody wanted a little download for AdeptiCon. And then, again, we will be at Little Wars. Let me give you the exact dates for those people, those times. Just so that if you want to be there, this is all listed up on the BattleNet forums as well. Let's see here. We'll quit it. All right, so Little Wars is the 21st through the 24th in Lisle, Illinois. April 21st, 22nd, 23rd, and 24th. So we will be there. After that is Border Wars in Kansas City in May. Origins is in June. We do plan on doing a virtual CAVCon in July. We hopefully will have more information on that pretty soon. We have Twisted Lords in July down in Oklahoma City. NashCon's in August in Nashville. ReaperCon/CAVCon is the September 1st through the 4th down in Denton, Texas. October, right now, we'll have some information, but that we may be or maybe not going to kick off our Kickstarter for the RPG. We'll talk about that later. And then Millennium Con, November 10th through the 13th in Round Rock, Texas. So that is our convention schedule for this year. Again, that's up on the message boards as well. And we'll go from there. So I'm going to call that a wrap. Any last things I need to? It is a lot of driving, but it is what it is. I did almost pay $5 a gallon for gas in Illinois. That sucked. I think $4.89 was what I paid. Yeah, $4.89 a gallon in Illinois. Okay, well, guys, take care. I will be back next Wednesday night. Yeah, California's got it even worse. And but again, thank you for being here. Love you. We'll see you next week. Good night.